If there are persons who, having heard the name of that Buddha, leap and dance with joy and are mindful of the Buddha even once, know that they receive the great benefit. That is, they acquire the unexcelled virtues. This is from the larger sutra. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Well, thank you very much, everyone. So I hope you had the time to take a look at the Obon video last night. I think it was pretty successful, and I wanted to thank everyone for their support in the production of the video, but also, just in the support of watching the video and in support of the temple as well. So thank you again for all of your hard work. So today I kind of wanted to talk about what I think the benefit of being a Jodo Shinshu is, what I think the benefit of being a part of this tradition is, because I, get that question all the time. Not only that, but I think about it all the time myself. When I think about when I was in school, I thought about what I was going to study and these kinds of different things. I got into UC Berkeley. So when I went to UC Berkeley, one of the things that I majored in philosophy, and philosophy, it was, I think for me, it was one of the best things that I did and one of the worst things that I did. It was the best thing that I did because it pushed me towards finding the path that I wanted to do. And it was the worst thing because I was utterly disappointed with what philosophy offered me, which was not any kind of resolution. So I was, kind of thinking that philosophy would answer a lot of my life questions and a lot of my, burning questions that I had about life, that philosopher and these intellectual people I could turn to, read their materials and be able to broaden my horizons, or be able to kind of ask myself deep questions and provide myself with deep answers that I would be able to get to. But as I went through the classes more and more, the more and more I found that a lot of the discussions in philosophy only went in circles, right? They went in circles. There was a never ending, list of questions that just went to another question, that just went to another question, that just went to another question. And for some people that process is okay for them. But for me, it was very frustrating, because it's, well, whose opinion do I take? Do I listen to this philosopher? Do I listen to this philosopher or that philosopher? The answers that they provided were not satisfactory to me. And I think that, after that, I started to speak to my father a little bit more about what Buddhism was. And actually, I bounced back into Buddhism because of this path that I went through of philosophy, I think. And then I started talking to, Reverend Dr. David Matsumoto Sensei, who's working at the Institute of Buddhist Studies. And through our conversations with these two people in my life, and with, now that I think about it, in my past with my oji-chan and my oba-chan, I think, these things all kind of influenced me to think about, Buddhism and its legitimacy, and how it actually does provide me with spiritual comfort, I think. And that spiritual comfort was what was missing in philosophy. And so, it came to all these great philosophers and all the great writings that we had to read about, and they all sounded smart, but for what? What was the purpose of philosophy? Is it just to sound smart? Is it just to know a bunch of information so that we can look down on others and put others down? A lot of my classes ended in heated debates about religion, heated debates about a lot of these things. And that, no one walks away from that happy, right? And you look at the students, they walk away from that angry. They walk away from that dissatisfied with, the content of philosophy. And so, when it came down to it, my question was, why do we die? That was my question. How can we come to terms with our death? And how do we resolve this issue of death and the death of our loved ones? And these questions, philosophy did not answer. And there was much to my surprise. And it is in questioning these things that I came to understand that there may be many ways to come to understand the meaning of life. But for me, that was through encountering the Buddha Dharma. Death is not, for me, after listening to Buddhism, death was not this enemy that had to be avoided, that had to be hated, that had to be shunned, neglected until the day it happens. Death actually becomes our greatest kind of teacher. We understand that death is a necessary part of life, and that it became my greatest teacher in that it showed me the truth of the Buddha Dharma. Death showed me that there is a reality greater than just the one that I knew about my own egocentric bubble. Death showed me that despite my faults and my egocentric actions, and that even though I have the best of intentions that I might still come short, that I still am going to be okay because I have Amida Buddha's great compassion to fall back on. Many times people ask me, what is the benefit of knowing or following Jodo Shinshu? I think for Jodo Shinshu, Shinjin, or true entrustment, is the ground that we walk on, the ground that we walk on. In other words, Amida Buddha's great compassion grounds us. It provides us a ground to walk on, a foundation to walk on. It gives us the confidence and the vigor to live. It provides us the assurance that us and all beings are embraced and being supported. Shinran Shoni uses the word in Japanese, Kangiji, Kangiji. Okay, Kangi means happiness, joy. Ji is from jimen, for ground. Okay, the ground of joy. This means that when we awaken to Shinjin, to true entrustment, we awaken to Amida Buddha's great compassion. And this is the moment in which one walks on the ground of joy. And from this point forward, there is no turning back. Now we see a world that we are unable to see before. We can now see, and we are forever humbled and grateful for being given this great gift to be able to awaken to this world of great compassion. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Matrix before, but there's this one scene where Neo, the main character, is given a blue pill or a red pill, right? And then so he takes the red pill, and then the teacher, not teacher, but the guide, Morpheus, right? He says, once you take this pill, there is no going back from this, okay? And so that is kind of what this awakening can be somewhat likened to, right? Is that we awaken to this world of great reality, this world of great compassion. And once we see that world, there is no turning back from it. Once we see that, we understand now that we are all embraced in this world of oneness. Well, the movie Matrix becomes very dark after that, but in Jodo Shinshu it becomes very bright, okay, after that. Okay, so in addition to this, what I read to you in the beginning is what's called the Gosandai. I read to you an excerpt from the larger sutra, and it states, if I may just repeat that one more time, quote, if there are persons who, having heard the name of that Buddha, leap and dance with joy. This is just like Obon dance. When we leap and dance with joy and are mindful of the Buddha even once, know that they receive the great benefit. That is, they acquire the unexcelled virtues. So, end quote. And what that means is that if we truly hear the calling voice of Amida Buddha and become joyous of the fact that we have encountered this rare teaching, if this happens even one time, just one time, we will acquire the highest virtues. We will receive the great benefit, the understanding that we will be okay, even when this life comes to an end and thereafter. We will go to the world of absolute truth, the world of nirvana, the world of clarity and warmth, the world of what we Shin Buddhists call the Pure Land. And this teaching we receive is called in Japanese it's called the Great Benefit, or in Japanese it is Shinjitsu no Ri. Ri is Rieki no Ri, but in Buddhism it's read Ryaku. So Shinjitsu no Ri, okay? It is the great benefit because we receive confidence and the hope to live in this life right here and right now. In addition, we see that those who have come before us, our role models, those who have lived on the Nembutsu path before us, have this great wisdom with them, and that we can follow their wisdom. They show us what this great benefit is and why it is important to have this teaching in our lives now. We can aspire to be like them. We can hope to become more humble in the face of others, to be more fully content in times of joy, to find deep meaning in times of despair and hardship. And with this teaching, we can come to value the time that we have now because we know it will not last forever. We can be hopeful in this world that many times seems hopeless. With this great benefit, we have the audacity to live despite the odds that are against us. And finally, we become soft, supple, and gentle, or what's called in Buddhism, nyu nanshin. We become soft, supple, and gentle to the people around us and the life around us. This is shinjitsu no ri, the great benefit. So that is the benefit that we get in this religion, and why we follow this teaching, the benefit of why we are Jodo Shinshu Buddhists. So let us humbly receive our great teacher Shinran Shonin's heart and mind that he himself received from Amida Buddha, and express our deep gratitude by saying the name of Amida Buddha. And with that, I would like to end today's message. Thank you very much. Please join me in Gasho. If there are persons who have heard the name of that Buddha, leap and dance with joy, and are mindful of the Buddha even once, know that they receive the great benefit. That is, they acquire the unexcelled virtues. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.